vessels since restarting blockade of Iranian ports, while Tehran says it has no plans to hold talks with Washington.
Also on World DNA, Argentina have once again delivered on the biggest stage. In a fierce match filled with intensity and emotion, the defending champions edged England 2-1 in the semi-final to set up a World Cup final clash with Spain now and keep that title defense alive. There is more on that front. Let's start with the headlines first. This is World DNA.
US Central Command says it launched new strikes on Iranian military sites to limit threats to shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran reports explosions in several cities, including near Bushehr's nuclear facility.
US aircraft disables Curaçao-flagged oil tanker MT Belma as it attempts to break Iran's port blockade using Hellfire missiles. Its first forced vessel halt since the blockade has been reinstated. 2 other ships redirected.
They want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off.
Donald Trump says Iran is eager to reach a settlement with Washington, adding the US will decide whether to proceed. Also wants Iran to better behave while saying he dislikes setting deadlines.
Iraq's Kurdish forces say US-led coalition shoots down 8 explosive-laden drones over Erbil. Explosions and smoke seen near the US consulate, but no casualties reported. No group claims responsibility.
Explosions strike Kyiv after a ballistic missile alert hitting a warehouse and damaging non-residential buildings. Kharkiv also targeted by drones hours after EU chief Ursula von der Leyen visits Kyiv to boost defense ties.
French lawmakers approve a bill allowing assisted dying for some adults with incurable conditions. Legislation now awaits Constitutional Council review before France could join countries that have legalized assisted dying.
Asian markets stumbled in early trading on Thursday as concerns over pricey technology stocks and escalating West Asia tensions rattled investors. Japan's Nikkei fell 3.16%, while South Korea's Kospi dropped 6.21%.
SL Group Chairman Dr. Subhash Chandra announces establishment of Sri Nand Kishore Goenka University in Hisar in the memory of his father and his legacy of service to society and the nation. The institution will be built on 32 acres with initial investment of around 100 crore rupees.
Defending champions Argentina staged an epic comeback as they beat England 2-1 in the second semi-final of the FIFA World Cup 2026. The holders have set a date with Spain in the final of the tournament, which is set to take place on Sunday.
Starting off with our West Asia updates, the battle over the Strait of Hormuz continues. It is the 5th straight day of US strikes on Iran.
Well, the American military said this wave of strikes targeted Iranian military capabilities used to threaten vessels moving through Hormuz. Iranian state media reported explosions in several cities, including Bandar Abbas, Rask and Chabahar. Earlier reports also cited blasts around southern sites, including Qasem and Bandar Imam Khomeini. Bushehr, which is home to Iran's only civilian nuclear plant, was also hit.
US Central Command also said that it has separately fired on a ship attempting to violate its renewed blockade on Iran's ports. Iran, on the other hand, struck US military targets in the region, including in Bahrain and Kuwait.
Now in Iraq, Kurdish forces said the US-led coalition downed 8 explosive-laden drones over Erbil. Despite renewed hostilities, mediated talks between the two sides have not formally ended.
More recently, on Tuesday, the US president threatened to attack bridges and power plants in Iran should Iran not return to talks by the coming week. Asked by reporters whether he would give a deadline before doing so, Trump said he doesn't give deadlines.
I don't like giving deadlines, but they pretty much know, they know the story. Sorry, they better behave.
He also reiterated that Iran badly wants to settle with the US, adding that Washington would decide whether or not to take such a step.
We're doing really well with Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran is not happy right now. Should have been done 47 years ago. Should have been done at least during the 47-year period. And it wasn't. Other presidents didn't do what was right. They should have done it a long time ago. It would have been much easier. And they want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off.
Iran, however, seems to be pulling away from the Memorandum of Understanding. Speaker and top negotiator Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf told state media that Tehran had no reason to abide by the deal if it did not benefit from it.
Now, Hormuz remains at the heart of the escalating tensions. The escalation came after Trump said a 20% toll he had threatened to impose in Hormuz would be replaced by massive trade as well as investment deals with Gulf states.
The US also implemented a blockade of Iranian ports. Iran thereafter said Hormuz was closed until further notice. The choke point saw low traffic, with a maritime tracker reporting only 21 transits on Tuesday.
The espionage war surrounding Hezbollah has intensified in recent months, with the group facing allegations of security breaches and possible infiltration within its own networks.
In the latest development, Lebanese authorities have arrested a man accused of betraying Hezbollah from the inside. Lebanese investigators say that he was an Israeli spy who helped identify targets for the assassination of some of Hezbollah's top military leaders.
If confirmed, the case would mark one of the most damaging intelligence failures the Iran-backed group has suffered in years.
A Lebanese judicial official involved in the investigation described the suspect to AFP as a high-level Israeli agent with close access to Hezbollah's leadership. And according to Arab media, the suspect allegedly even passed highly precise intelligence back to Israel.
This led to deadly assassination of at least 4 of Hezbollah's top security commanders in 2024, including Fuad Shukr and Ibrahim Akil. Fuad Shukr was Hezbollah's top military commander and a senior advisor to Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah.
While Ibrahim Akil served as the commander of Hezbollah's elite Radwan force and even acted as the group's second-in-command for military operations. Incidentally, former Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah was also killed in an Israeli strike on Beirut's southern suburbs in September 2024.
Now, Lebanese security agencies reportedly detained the suspect at Beirut's airport as he prepared to board a flight to Iraq and even leave the country. The man, who is from southern Lebanon, reportedly traveled frequently to Iraq, where his wife is from. From Iraq, he then traveled to Turkey, where he allegedly met officers and agents linked to Israel's Mossad intelligence service and handed over intelligence on targets in Beirut.
Now, prior to his arrest, Lebanese authorities were allegedly tracking his movements as well as monitoring his calls with contacts from abroad. And this is not an isolated incident. According to reports, more than 30 people have been arrested by Lebanese authorities on suspicion of supplying Israel with intelligence on Hezbollah facilities and the movements of its members during the 2023 and 2024 wars. Russian strikes across Ukraine have killed at least 13 people and wounded more than 50.
Well, this as Moscow and Kyiv continue to intensify attacks amid the ongoing war. The latest strikes hit several regions, including Odessa, Sumy, Zaporizhzhia and Mykolaiv, targeting civilian areas and infrastructure as well. And in the northeastern region of Sumy and the port city of Odessa, regional governors reported devastating daytime missile strikes targeting industrial and medical infrastructure. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, the country faced a massive barrage of 122 attack drones and 2 ballistic missiles, successfully intercepting 101 of the drones.
Meanwhile, a series of explosions shook Ukraine's capital following a Ukrainian Air Force warning of incoming ballistic missiles. Witnesses reported flashes lighting up the sky over Kiev, followed by several powerful blasts. Kiev mayor said a warehouse was hit, while missile debris fell on non-residential buildings. According to local officials, the northeastern city of Kharkiv was also targeted by combat drones.
The strikes come as Ukraine faces growing pressure on its air defense systems, particularly its supply of Patriot interceptor missiles, which are used to counter ballistic attacks. Speaking during the Statehood Day ceremony in Kyiv, President Volodymyr Zelensky said he expects Ukraine to acquire the technical capability to produce missiles domestically. U.S. Patriot defense systems by the end of this year, that's his target. He added that Ukraine wants to secure a future free from Russian control and protect its independence.
For the first time, Ukraine is moving closer to the possibility of producing missiles for the Patriots and may become the third country in history to have this agreement and this privilege. I want to thank the President of the United States for this political decision, which is already historic and will help save the lives of thousands of people in Ukraine. And it is very important that, as we move forward, everything goes smoothly for our sides and our teams, so that Patriot missiles marked "Made in Ukraine" become a reality as soon as possible.
During her visit to Kiev, President of the European Commission, von der Leyen, announced an additional $11.4 billion European Union support package for Ukraine, including funding for drones, missiles and fighter aircraft. Before the announcement, Zelensky and von der Leyen, they signed a letter of intent on joint drone production, calling it a historic step in Ukraine-EU defense cooperation.
Just to give you 2 figures, on June 30th, we disbursed the first military assistance package. This time it's for drones only. That is $4 billion, and that is the largest drone support package globally. And today I'm glad to announce a new disbursement of another 1 billion euros for drones specifically. But of course more is to come, because we have just approved a 10 billion euro disbursement plans for more drones, for missiles and fighter aircrafts. So as I said, this is really just the beginning.
In what is being called a refresh to the leadership, Ukraine's President Zelensky, after having his prime minister resign, is now looking for a new defense minister.
Well, at a critical point in the war with Russia, Zelensky is reshuffling the cabinet to find new top brass, which he describes as steps to prepare for the upcoming winter. Now, Ukraine's defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, has announced his resignation as part of the president's cabinet reshuffle. He is stepping down after overseeing a rapid expansion of drone warfare capabilities and military reforms during Russia's full-scale invasion. For many, this has come as a shock, as he was seen as the mind behind Ukraine's successful drone strategy against the Russian frontiers.
This development comes days after Zelensky had asked his Prime Minister, Yulia Siridenko to resign, who had only served for a year, triggering the resignation of the whole government. The president, whose party holds a majority in the parliament, has now endorsed Sergei Koretsky, the CEO of the state-owned energy company Naftogaz.
Well, he has called him the best candidate suited for the prime ministership as Ukraine prioritizes preparing for the upcoming winter. Many from within the government's establishment have been surprised by these changes, especially with the change in the defense ministry. Fedorov, the outgoing defense minister, has been in the position for 4.5 years through the war and has been credited for pursuing a data-driven strategy of exhausting Russian forces.
Well, Alexander Mereshko, the chair of Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee and a member of Zelensky's party, expressed disappointment here. Now, as Fedorov goes, it is quite unclear who will replace him as Ukraine braces for its fifth winter of Russian strikes on critical infrastructure. Last year, the attack on the power grid had caused nationwide blackouts across Ukraine.
In a targeted attack, a man in Utah, United States, was stabbed multiple times inside a shopping mall.
Police say that the suspect, who is now under arrest, appeared to have targeted the victim because of his religion. The attack took place on Monday inside the Valley Fair Mall in West Valley City. The victim, who worked at a kiosk in the mall, was reportedly approached by this suspect, who asked his name, inquired about his religion, and then requested a bottle of water. And as the victim turned to get it, the suspect allegedly attacked him with a knife. Court records say that the suspect later admitted that he targeted the victim because he was a Muslim. Authorities say the victim suffered multiple stab wounds across his body and was bleeding profusely. He was rushed to a hospital and remains in critical condition. The suspect, identified as Peter Michael Larson, has been arrested and charged with attempted murder and possession of a prohibited dangerous weapon.
Babe! Babe!
Well, imagine getting a private invitation to meet your country's prime minister. The video call seems real, the leaders sound real, the officials on screen could seem genuine. You thank them, trust them, and minutes later, $3.8 million are gone, snatched away from you, just like that.
Well, this isn't fiction. Unfortunately, it is the terrifying new face of cybercrime, where artificial intelligence is turning the images and voices of trusted political leaders into powerful weapons for global scam syndicates. For example, one victim in Singapore reportedly received a WhatsApp message claiming to be from the secretary to the cabinet, inviting him to a confidential Zoom meeting. What followed was an elaborate fake summit featuring AI-generated versions of Singapore's Prime Minister, President, cabinet ministers, and even foreign dignitaries discussing funding linked to the Strait of Hormuz.
The fake prime minister thanked the victim for attending before a fake lawyer took over the call, and by the end of it, $3.8 million had disappeared into an account that no longer exists. And this is no longer an isolated crime. Across Southeast Asia, scammers are reportedly cloning the faces and even voices of political leaders to exploit the one thing no security software can fully protect, and that is human trust. Experts say these scams succeed because most people are conditioned to trust and respect authority, making them more likely to comply before they question.
In Indonesia, shortly after Prabowo Subianto's election victory, a convincing AI video reportedly appeared to show him offering government aid. Thousands reportedly even believed it. Victims across 20 provinces paid so-called administrative fees of up to $55 per, and this is for the benefits that never existed.
In the Philippines, fraudsters used President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s face in a deepfake video promoting an online trading scheme. One victim reportedly lost $1.5 million before realizing it was all a fake.
Now, an Interpol report, it was released in June, and it calls AI-powered crime one of Southeast Asia's fastest growing threats. The Interpol further claims that discussions about deepfake technology on criminal forums surged by 600% during a 5-month period in the year 2024. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime also warns that AI tools are now becoming a standard part of scam operations across Southeast Asia and even beyond. Interpol estimates global cybercrime losses reached $10.5 trillion in 2025, with the threat expected to only grow sharply by the end of the decade.
Now, experts say the best defense is simple. Never trust a high-stakes request simply because it looks or sounds authentic. Don't reply to the same message or caller. Instead, verify through a completely different channel. Call the person directly, use another platform, or even meet them in person if possible, and ask an unexpected question. Because AI can copy a face and clone a voice, but it often struggles when forced off the script.
And the world's most famous predator is changing course from the beaches of US to the coast of Australia.
Well, scientists are tracking a steady rise in shark sightings and encounters. As the oceans warm, the delicate boundary between humans and nature is breaking down. And our next report tells you more.
For millions of years, sharks have ruled the oceans. Long before dinosaurs walked the earth, sharks were already swimming through ancient seas. Today, they remain one of the ocean's most important predators, helping keep marine ecosystems balanced. But now, scientists say the sharks are on the move. California is witnessing one of its highest numbers of great white sharks in recent years. Researchers believe unusually warm Pacific waters, driven by El Nino, are pushing juvenile great whites north from Mexico much earlier than normal. The result is simple. More sharks are appearing near California's coastline. Great white sharks are among the largest predatory fish on Earth. Adults can grow over 6 meters long, weigh more than 2 tons. Despite their fearsome reputation, experts say shark attacks remain extremely rare. Humans are not their preferred prey. Most great white sightings involve young sharks feeding on fish and rays in shallow coastal waters. Scientists say warmer oceans are creating ideal conditions for these juvenile sharks. Their prey is moving north, and the sharks are following. The pattern is not limited to the United States. Australia is reporting a similar trend. The country now records nearly 29 shark incidents a year, compared with about 16 annually in the early 2000s. Researchers believe climate change is altering ocean temperatures and shifting the distribution of several shark species, bringing them closer to beaches for longer periods. This is not a shark invasion. It is a climate story unfolding underwater. Marine scientists stress that sharks are responding exactly as any wild animal would. They follow food, water temperature, and suitable habitats. As the oceans change, their migration routes change too. The message from scientists is clear: the oceans are warming, and the world's greatest predator is simply adapting faster than we are.
A 38-foot-long Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton has set a new auction record.
The fossil, named Gus, sold for nearly $50.1 million at Sotheby's in New York, far exceeding its pre-auction estimate of $20 million to about $30 million. There's more in this next report. Short break after that. This is World DNA. We will come back. Stay with us.
to offer Lot 20, the Tyrannosaurus rex, affectionately known as Gus, one of the largest and most complete T-Rex ever found. We can start the bidding here at $17 million, at $18 million, $22 million, at 22, at 22 with Cassandra, 24 with Frank Everett at $24 million.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching World DNA with Kripa. I'm Shivan. Lots more to discuss on this side of the show. Let's start with the headlines.
Air defenses activated in parts of Tehran with explosions reported in northern and western Iran. State media says no casualties reported, while blasts also heard in Lorestan and Semnan provinces.
Giving deadlines, but they pretty much know, they know the story. Sorry, they better behave.
Donald Trump warns Iran to better behave while saying Tehran is eager to reach a settlement with Washington. He adds that US would decide whether to move forward with talks, saying he dislikes setting deadlines.
US aircraft disables Curacao-flagged oil tanker MT Belma as it attempts to break Iran's port blockade using Hellfire missiles. Its first forced vessel halt since the blockade is reinstated. 2 other ships redirected.
US House rejects proposal to cut off aid to Israel, voting 314 to 104 against the measure. 103 Democrats and 1 Republican back it, marking a shift from past bipartisan support and reflecting growing divisions over US aid to Israel amid the Gaza conflict.
Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov resigns as part of President Zelensky's cabinet reshuffle. Fedorov highlights drone development and military reforms during his tenure. The move also follows resignation of PM Yulia Svirento.
US says that it will not prevent Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado from returning home, but stresses that conditions must ensure that she is not arrested. Machado was and has been abroad since December after receiving the Nobel Peace Prize.
SpaceX shares fell below their Wall Street debut price for the first time, dropping to about $133 as investor demand cooled. The stock remains far below last month's peak, despite its record $85 billion IPO in June.
SL Group Chairman Dr. Subhash Chandra announces establishment of the Sri Nand Kishore Goenka University in Hisar in the memory of his father and his legacy of service to society and the nation. The institution will be built on 32 acres with initial investment of around 100 crore rupees.
Defending champions Argentina stage an epic comeback as they beat England 2-1 in the second semi-final of the FIFA World Cup 2026. The holders have set a date with Spain in the final of the tournament, which is set to take place on Sunday. Well, India is stepping up regional security coordination ahead of the BIMSTEC National Security Advisors meeting.
Well, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval held a series of high-level bilateral discussions with senior officials from Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. The meeting focused on maritime security, intelligence sharing and counter-terrorism cooperation. Doval began his BIMSTEC security engagements with Myanmar's National Security Advisor. The two sides reviewed bilateral security cooperation and exchanged views on regional stability.
With Thailand, though, will discuss deeper cooperation on intelligence sharing, law enforcement and regional security coordination with National Security Council Secretary General. NSA Doval also met retired Brigadier General Dr. Shamsul Islam, Defence Advisor to Bangladesh's Prime Minister. The talks come as countries around the Bay of Bengal face a growing mix of traditional and emerging security challenges, including insurgencies, cross-border crime to narcotics trafficking and climate-related threats.
Well, senior security officials from 7 Bay of Bengal nations will be gathering in New Delhi for the 5th BIMSTEC National Security Advisors meeting, as it is continuing as of now. New Delhi is seeking to strengthen regional cooperation against shared threats in a strategically vital region. And Tamil Nadu's TVK is facing political pressure after an alleged bribery video involving one of its office bearers surfaced online.
The party has gone into damage control mode and has expelled the functionary at the center of the controversy. The video allegedly shows NV Veera, president of the Mambakam Panchayat Union, accepting money from a government contractor. Soon after the clip emerged, TVK announced Veera's removal from the party. The footage, believed to have been seen and recorded secretly by the contractor, allegedly shows Veera receiving rupees 30,000 in cash. Another person in the video can reportedly be heard saying that 1 lakh rupees had already been transferred online, taking the alleged total amount to 1.3 lakh rupees.
However, Veera has denied all the allegations. He said he did not accept any bribe and claimed that the video was part of a conspiracy to tarnish his image and target the TVK. The controversy has come at a difficult time for the party. The video surfaced just days after TVK chief and Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Vijay, spoke about his commitment to fighting corruption.
Addressing a gathering in Karur, Vijay had said that his party would not tolerate corruption. The timing of the allegations has now given opposition parties a chance to question TVK's claims as well. The issue also emerged as the Tamil Nadu government has stepped up its anti-bribery campaign, directing government offices, local bodies, boards and state-run corporations to display messages against corruption.
Now, since entering politics, Vijay has repeatedly made corruption a key part of TVK's political pitch. He has also urged party workers to stay away from money-driven politics and said that the party cannot be influenced by financial incentives. The latest controversy now puts that message under scrutiny as TVK prepares for its first major electoral challenge.
Wangchuk, right? Climate activist Sonam Wangchuk's indefinite hunger strike at Delhi's Jantar Mantar enters day 19 today.
This as concerns grow over his deteriorating health, and the political support for the protest continues to rise now. The Delhi High Court will hear a public interest litigation seeking intervention over Wangchuk's health. The plea has raised concerns over his prolonged fast, over alleged irregularities in the NEET exam. A campaign held by the CJP. Despite appeals from opposition leaders and citizens, Wangchuk refused to end his fast. Political leaders and supporters have now expressed concern over his health condition.
It is with great difficulty that I am joining you today, on the 18th day of my hunger strike. A lot of you are asking me to break my fast and eat something. Many people have asked me to break my fast, and some have even appealed to the court to force-feed me.
The CJP has called for a one-day mass hunger strike in solidarity with Wangchuk and the students supporting the ongoing agitation. The CJP continues to demand government accountability, including the resignation of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan following the NEET UG question paper leak controversy.
In an open letter, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor has appealed to Wangchuk to end his fast. Tharoor has also urged the government to open a dialogue with the protesters, saying that engagement is not a sign of weakness but a mark of statesmanship.
According to an Aam Aadmi Party MLA, national convener Arvind Kejriwal will meet Wangchuk at the protest site in Jantar Mantar at around 4 p.m.
Well, Wangchuk joined the agitation on the 28th of June and has been on an indefinite fast since then. Protesters claimed no union government official has met them or issued a direct response to their demands. All right, this is a phenomenon taking place around the world. Nights are in fact getting warmer, and that is quietly affecting something people need every day, and that is sleep.
Now, new analysis by Climate Central has found that climate change-linked sleep loss has more than doubled since the early 1970s across 1,338 major cities, and India is among the worst affected. A new analysis has found that rising nighttime temperatures are making it increasingly difficult for people around the world to get a good night's rest. The study suggests that climate change is now costing people several hours of sleep every year, and India has emerged as one of the countries feeling the impact the most.
Well, the findings come at a time when heat waves are becoming more frequent and lasting longer. But while most discussions around extreme heat focus on scorching afternoons, scientists say the real concern may begin after sunset. The analysis to directly estimate how much sleep people are losing because of climate change. Researchers combined medical studies that explain how temperature affects sleep with climate attribution science. It then measures how much of today's warming is driven by human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels.
The study covered 107 Indian cities and found that warmer nights are disrupting sleep across the country. Southern Indian cities are among the worst affected, losing 78 to 91 hours of sleep every year due to high nighttime temperatures. Around 8 to 9 hours of this loss is linked directly to climate change. Tamil Nadu recorded the highest climate-driven sleep loss, with residents losing nearly 8 extra hours of sleep annually.
Among major metro cities, Chennai saw the highest overall heat-related sleep loss at 93 hours a year, followed by Mumbai at 84 hours and Kolkata at 80 hours. In Maharashtra, residents lose about 76 hours of sleep annually due to heat, while in Uttar Pradesh, the figure stands at around 69 hours.
Now, sleep loss is more than just tiredness. Poor sleep is linked to heart problems, weak immunity, mental health issues, and reduced productivity. And while air conditioning can offer relief, access to cooling remains unequal. For many, escaping hot nights is not always possible. As the planet warms, climate change is now affecting not just how people live during the day, but also how well they sleep at night. The US House just did what Congress has failed to do for years. It voted 308 to 117 to end the twice-a-year clock ritual, passing the Sunshine Protection Act.
Well, in this next report, we decode what America's time zone patchwork would mean for business and the global economy if the bill is signed into a law. Take a look.
The bill would allow states to voluntarily observe daylight saving time year-round. President Trump is expected to sign it if it clears the Senate. But here's the catch. The Senate is where this bill has died before. The Senate passed similar legislation unanimously in 2022, but the House never took it up. Now the roles are reversed, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune faces pressure. Democratic Senator Patty Murray has publicly urged him to bring the bill to a vote as soon as possible. The politics don't split cleanly along party lines. Lawmakers from coastal states like Florida, Louisiana, and New Jersey largely back the change, while Midwest and agriculture-heavy states are pushing back. Democrats were nearly evenly divided, with the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries voting no. That is proof this is a lifestyle fight and not an ideology fight. For businesses, the economic case is straightforward. Florida lawmakers argue extended evening daylight boosts tourism and outdoor recreation, benefiting retail, golf and hospitality sectors. But farmers worry about later sunrises disrupting agricultural schedules, a sector with real lobbying weight in the Senate. For ordinary Americans, the pitch is health and simplicity. Supporters say permanent daylight time could improve public health, reduce traffic accidents, cut crime, and encourage outdoor activity. Critics counter with child safety. Democratic Representative Marie Gay Scanlon warned it creates risks for children walking to school in darker mornings. Globally, this matters less for markets and more for coordination. 19 states have already passed standby legislation to switch immediately if Congress acts, while Hawaii, Arizona, and US territories could opt out entirely. That means even a federal law leaves America's clock map fragmented. For global businesses trading with the US, that patchwork is the real complexity to watch and not the daylight saving debate itself. The bottom line, the House delivered a rare bipartisan win. Now, the Senate is the real test. Business Bureau, WION World is One.
Google has urged Europe's highest court to reject an appeal by EU competition regulators.
This after a lower court last year overturned a $1.7 billion antitrust fine against the company. The case is the latest chapter in Google's long-running legal battle with the European Union over its dominance in the online advertising market. The dispute centers on a fine imposed by the European Commission in 2019. The Commission accused Google of using restrictive clauses in contracts with website publishers to prevent rival search engines from placing their advertisements on those sites. Regulators said the practices ran from 2006 to 2016, helping Google strengthen its dominance in search advertising through its AdSense platform. Well, Google removed the disputed contract terms in 2016.
Then in 2024, the EU's General Court cancelled the fine, ruling that the European Commission had made errors in its assessment of the case. The Commission has now appealed that decision, taking the dispute to the Court of Justice of the European Union, the EU's highest court, that is. Google's lawyers told the court that the Commission's new arguments are flawed and said that the lower court's reasoning was clear and legally sound. The company also urged that regulators ignored evidence showing rivals had meaningful opportunities to compete. The European Commission disagreed, saying that the lower court had imposed an unprecedented legal burden on regulators and even warned that its reasoning could make exclusive contract clauses appear lawful by default. A court advisor is expected to issue a non-binding opinion now in November, with a final judgment likely in the months after that.
The AdSense case is one of 4 major EU antitrust actions against Google, which have resulted in a total of 9.5 billion euros in penalties over the past 2 decades. The lower court's decision to overturn the AdSense fine was seen as a rare legal setback for the European Commission. If staging a miraculous comeback is an art, then the Argentinian football team are the artists.
Well, the defending world champions have beaten England 2-1 in the second semi-final and have now set up a date with Spain in what could be a blockbuster of a final in the FIFA World Cup 2026. Another day, another knockout fixture and another epic comeback. It just looks like Argentina has all the right ingredients to brew the perfect recipe required to win clutch moments in a knockout game. And Wednesday night against England at the stadium in Atlanta was no different. It was dubbed as the clash of football's two biggest icons, Argentina's Lionel Messi versus England's Harry Kane, two players who are among the top goal scorers in this year's FIFA World Cup for their respective nations. But this fiery contest was much more than just a clash of two icons. It was an age-old rivalry that was rechristened once again after 24 long years in the FIFA World Cup. The monumental clash had everything. It had confrontations, it had fouls, multiple yellow cards, as both teams did not flinch an inch. The intense rivalry also cascaded into the stands as fans of Argentina started booing when England's national anthem was being played. Now, as the traumas of the Falkland tales roared across Atlanta, England and Argentina started to script the next chapter in their storied rivalry that dates back all the way to 1951.
5 minutes into the first half, sparks flew away as both England and Argentina got into a scuffle after Enzo Martinez appeared to throw a forearm to the back of the head of Elliot Anderson. The contest just kept getting feistier and more physical as both teams amassed 19 fouls and 2 yellow cards. Both teams had 0 shots on goal as the first half ended with a stalemate at 0-0. In the second half, however, fortunes fluctuated for England as Anthony Gordon opened the scoring in the 55th minute by sweeping in a right-footed shot into the bottom corner of the net from a close range. Following this, the game came back to life as Argentina pressed on for an equalizer, but the 3-time world champions were unable to break the English defence, owing to some fine saves from goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. As the Argentine fans kept gnawing away their nails, a moment of brilliance in the 85th minute changed the complexion of the match. No, it was definitely not the hand of God, but an assist from Lionel Messi that was later converted into a powerful shot by Enzo Fernandez from outside the penalty box. The shot smashed into the back of the net, sending Argentine fans into a feeding frenzy. And when the game looked destined for extra time, Argentine substitute Lautaro Martinez scored the second goal with a scintillating header in the stoppage time following a cross from Lionel Messi.
And as the referee blew the final whistle, celebrations erupted in the stadium and back home in Buenos Aires as Argentina progressed to the final for the second time on the trot. The South American champions will now take on the European champions Spain in what could be a clash of epic proportions in the grand finale of the FIFA World Cup. Argentina are now just one game away from being the second team after Brazil to win consecutive World Cups.
With that, we wrap up World DNA, but a quick look at the images drawing our attention from around the world. Stay tuned to WION for this one.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is?
From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
Know more? Understand better? Think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Speed News. This is WION World is One. Let's get started. The United States has launched a new wave of strikes against Iran, targeting military capabilities that Washington says threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command said the strikes were aimed at reducing Iran's ability to disrupt vessels moving through the strategic waterway. Iranian state media reported explosions in several cities, including Bandar Abbas, Rask, and Chabahar. Fresh strikes were also reported in Bushehr, home to Iran's only civilian nuclear power plant. The operation comes as President Donald Trump warned that further attacks could follow unless Tehran returns to negotiations. The U.S. military has released footage showing what it says is the targeting and disabling of a Curacao-flagged oil tanker accused of attempting to breach Iran's port blockade. U.S. Central Command said an aircraft disabled the MT Belma by firing Hellfire missiles at the vessel's smokestack, preventing it from continuing its route toward Iran. The operation marks the first forced vessel halt since the blockade was reinstated, with 2 other ships reportedly redirected during the mission. Suspected Iranian projectiles were intercepted over Jordan's capital Amman early Thursday, lightening up the night sky as air defenses responded. Jordan's armed forces said they had downed 3 Iranian missiles. The incident came after the United States launched a new wave of strikes against Iran. The escalation follows rising tensions over the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran's Revolutionary Guard saying they targeted the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. The U.S. House of Representatives has rejected a proposal to cut off aid to Israel, voting 314 to 104 against the measure. The bill received support from 103 Democrats and 1 Republican, highlighting growing divisions in Congress over continued U.S. assistance to Israel.